So the new year is upon us, and of course it's the hashtag New Year, New Me. It's a great time to start getting ahead of things you want to do for the year. Maybe it's planning a holiday, maybe you've got a wedding coming up. We've got lots of things to start getting our finances sorted for. So my name's Matilda Green, and today I'm going to be talking to two financial advisors who are a lot more financially literate than I am. And so why don't we start by you introducing yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Josh. I'm a financial advisor. I founded a company called The Money Men, and we basically just help Kiwis be better with money.
My name is Cale Emery, and I am one of the founders of The Money Men.
Because I have heard you on the radio before, haven't I?
Yes, yep, we've had a bit of time on the radio and some other things, which is really, really cool. So what we found was the way we'd like to do things, which is just kind of plain English, be a human sort of approach, really resonated with a lot of people. So that's kind of what got us into jumping on the rock with Jay and Dunk in the afternoons, and that went really well. We were on there for quite a while. We've done some stuff with George FM and some other stations, and we've kind of done a partnership with Heineken as well.
And so financial advice, it's not just for people with a lot of money, right? Like people
Absolutely.
living paycheck to paycheck, they can still, even for however much a week, they can still start investing to reach some financial goals. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, financial advice is actually it's for everyone. It's quite incredible. We've got clients who we've helped set up their first budget, like the very beginning of their kind of financial journey, and we've got CFOs of multinational businesses as clients too, right? And they still need help too. If the help might be slightly different, but everyone wants to achieve more, and everyone wants to understand more about money, and that's how it should be. So historically, I think the brand of a financial advisor has just been for the wealthy, so it's kind of turned people off from starting that discussion, and that's, again, why we kind of started, because everyone needs it. But this time of year, especially, coming back from the New Year, Christmas break, everyone's super motivated to make this year the year, right, where they achieve everything they've been thinking about for so long, whether that's saving for a wedding or going on that family holiday you've been thinking about for a few years, or just kind of whatever it is. So what we help people do is just kind of take a step back and build a bit of a framework. I use getting back to the gym as an example. I always do, because it's one of those things that's relevant to me, probably, that's why. And you get back from New Year's, you probably had a little bit too much to drink over that break. It's been just disgustingly hot. And then you go all in. You go, I'm going to the gym every day, and I'm going to smoke some workouts that I've never even thought about doing before, and that's how I'm going to do it. You do it for about 3 days, then you have another beer, then you think, I'll start again Monday because I've ruined it. And then you jump back in the cycle. And finance is exactly the same.
Because I've been doing it for nearly 10 years now, there's some fundamental things that everyone can do, like being a good KiwiSaver fund, have an idea on what all your expenses are, and if someone could come to us with, like, say they earn $10,000 and they're spending $8,000 a month of that, and they've got $2,000 surplus, and you ask them, like, what are you doing with that? And people just spend it. And that goes through to, like, people earning 50 grand to, like, 500 grand. They all seem to just spend the money. So we just go, well, you're trying to buy for a first home, so why don't we use the $1,000 of that money towards, that saving, or invest that money for you so you can buy the first home. So yeah, it's really kind of just helping people map that out.
Okay, so let's talk about finance basics. What are some of the basic rules for personal finance?
Yeah, so it's understanding debt. That's probably the biggest one. So, back in my parents' generation, they had lay-by, so they would save up and then buy something, whereas now everyone wants stuff immediately. And so the trap that we all get into is we go and buy that thing immediately. It could be a car, it could be, expensive clothing and all that sort of stuff. And it goes on credit, cards, it goes on personal loans. And I recently spoke to a guy who works for the government and helps people with real basic budgeting. And he said that lots of people are stuck on like 30% interest rates. And they just don't understand that when they're making that minimum repayment each month, that all they're doing is servicing the interest, not reducing the debt. And so, takeaway number one would just be make sure you understand debt and don't always just go for the easiest bit of finance. And then in terms of repaying debt, you just pay for your most expensive first. So, that's the model that I like to use. Even it might be a smaller loan, but a higher interest rate, so you'd pay that off before you paid off your cheaper dets, because you're getting better bang for your buck.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I think another trap some people fall into is when there's like 12 months interest free, but you're just really unlikely to pay it all off early. Most people don't, but most people think they will. Don't
I know,
they?
and it's crazy because it's so attractive because you're like, oh, I've got 12 months, I can definitely do that. Don't even
Lots
worry
of time
about
to
it.
worry about it.
Yeah, but then like life happens then, and that's what happens. Someone's car breaks down, or you get an unexpected expense, or if you have a partner, they might get pregnant, and that starts a whole another trigger of events happening. So just life happens, and that's why it's hard to kind of plan for those.
Okay, so now we've thought about it, we're ready for action, we're motivated, we're ready to start a plan. And now what's step one of that plan?
Yeah, so we're all fired up, we're motivated, excuse me, and we just need to know how to get the wheels turning, right? So step one for us, when people come to us and they kind of explain their motivation, is understanding the start line, or what we call your statement of position, because it's really, really difficult. I kind of referred back to the mountaintop earlier, and that's something I tell a lot of people because it's human nature. In fact, it's super common just to kind of have a thought or an idea of who you want to be or what you want to achieve, and then just go full steam. And that's kind of going to get you nowhere really, really quickly. So it's about taking a step back and understanding where you are now, because you need to understand where you're starting from to be able to get to where you want to get to. So we call it your statement of position, and that's exactly what's going on in life at the moment. That's income versus expenditure, where that expenditure is going. And if you kind of take a step back and look at yourself right now, where your main opportunities are to save some money or change a behaviour slightly, or just kind of understand exactly where you are right now at any given second.
Well, because even that can make a huge difference, because a lot of people have no idea what's coming in, what's going out. There's, automatic payments from some random thing you signed up for ages ago.
Yeah, and that's a byproduct of just going hard, right? You just go hard in life, and you kind of hope you're heading in the right direction. You're achieving a lot of little things as you go, but like you say, it kind of gets messy. If I think about myself or my own household, really good at signing up to $10, $12, $15 subscriptions, and those need to be reviewed because they stack up pretty quickly, and they become quite a piece of expenditure. I don't know how many, when we did our first major reflection as a household, I don't know how many streaming services we had, like at least 4, and we use 1, So that's money out the window. Things like that we can discover. And it comes back to, there is a little bit of a head in the sand nature, because it is confronting. It's quite frightening to think, okay, I actually have to look at what my behaviour's been doing the last 6, 12, 24 months, whatever it is. But without that information, then you can't move forward. So it's a non-negotiable if you want to break through that barrier and start achieving things.
Well, how would you do that? Is there like a quick step to make that happen?
There is. So traditionally we've used like a big breakdown spreadsheet, which are really, really good, but super labour intensive. And again, from our experience, a little bit of a barrier to people really engaging because it takes a bit of work. But we use a software called SortMe, which effectively just allows you to plug your bank accounts in, and it will pull that data through, transactional data through automatically, so you don't have to sit there and highlight transactions through your bank accounts to really understand where it's going. So it's game changing. It's incredible.
You need to understand your spending, and then what's after that? Like how can you start setting goals, or how do you know what goals to even set?
Yeah, and that's part of the conversations we always have with people, because they come to us to be better with money, but you're kind of like, what are you actually trying to achieve? You need some good goals, and Kale and I have done a lot of goal setting in the past with like using Tony Robbins stuff and all kinds of different structures, and they're really complex, can be really time consuming. So we've broken things down to a really simple formula, which is basically, what do people want to do? So how do they want to spend their time? What do they want to have, which is like assets and possessions, cars, boats, maybe that kind of stuff. And then kind of who do they need to be in order to do and have what they want, which could be, upskilling or all that sort of stuff. So 3 basic things, and anyone can kind of take that away and figure it out. And it usually involves, them going away and doing that. So we kind of set them on the path and then give them a few pushes along to make sure that they actually do it.
So I've heard you guys talk about blueprints for your money before. So can you explain a bit about what that is and how does one go about setting up a blueprint for your own money?
Yeah, so most people just operate on a basis where they earn money and they spend it. And so our blueprint for people's money is based loosely off the Barefoot Investor, which is a great bit of information if people wanted to YouTube that. But his structure is effectively he gives you a percentage of your overall income that you spend on all of your expenses. And for us, for clients living in Auckland, it's around about probably 80% of their income goes on their fixed expenses. And then you get the remaining 20% of someone's income. There's 3 other buckets after that. So you've got a SMILE account, which is your longer term saving account. You've got a fire extinguisher for those really expensive debts. So 20% of your overall income goes into that bucket, and you can use it to be paying down credit cards or your most expensive debts first. And you point that fire extinguisher on it. When you pay off your debts, then you can point that fire extinguisher at other things and accelerate your savings or whatever it's going to be. And then the last account is the splurge account. So that's your spending account, and that's actually one of the best things people need to have is an allocated amount of spending. So that's it's really easy to overspend if you don't kind of give yourself a bit of a budget on how much you can just spend or waste or enjoy of your income. So that's kind of the basic framework that we'd use for people to get them started, so they can start being a bit more focused on how they, what they do with the money that they've worked hard to earn, and how they spend it and still get ahead on the goals they want to achieve.
I really like that idea of the splurge account actually, because it's kind of stops people feeling like they're going cold turkey and they can't buy anything ever again, that they still get a little bit of something and can still reach their goals at the same time.
It's guilt-free spending money that still keeps you in alignment with achieving your goals and stuff. It's still hard to stick to it, but it's nice to have something allocated to that so they actually know, how much money you can spend.
So for all the people watching that are motivated, they're ready to make some changes, at what stage should they be getting a financial advisor involved?
Yeah, so we always tell people the best time to get started is right now. You hear that in lots of different places, but with financial advice, you can make small changes at the start of your journey, and they're going to really compound and make a big difference at the end of it. So it's about getting all the small things right at the start. And so, we could have someone that could be doing their first job at 18 and starting up a KiwiSaver account. And people can get basically free advice on KiwiSaver. And so, we always just encourage people to get in touch no matter what part of that journey that they're on. And for us, it starts at the same place. Where's your base level and what are you trying to achieve? And that could be, like I said before, the first home, or it could be, the 5th investment property. So it's not just something for really wealthy people, which I think is what a lot of financial advisors or a lot of people think about financial advisors. You've got someone who's really wealthy, they've got all this money to invest, and they go and pay someone to go and do that. But it's a very, very small part of what we do, and we are about helping Kiwis be better with money, everyday Kiwis, and achieve whatever they're trying to achieve.
And you do offer free 30-minute phone consultations, is that right?
Yeah. So all of our first meetings are complimentary, just because we want to understand, or we want to ensure that we can add value, not just start sending out invoices and then having a couple of quick chats. So we just catch up with people for half an hour, figure out where the value is, how we can help, and then get on our way.
Perfect. Well, I guess it's one of those expenses that will bring you more in the long run.
Yeah, short-term pain, long-term gain.
Exactly. So for everyone watching, how do they get in touch with you?
The best way is just to book that 30-minute consultation, because we'll have the discussions that we need to have at that point and make sure we can add value, and then go from there.
I love it. 2024 is looking bright. Well, thank you so much, Kale, for your time. And I hope that everyone got a lot out of this. I think that it'll help a lot of people start moving in the right direction with their finances.
Fingers crossed.